Okay, I want to walk you through the process that I took to create the sliding jaw and to be aware of some things as you're creating this model. It is a bit complex, and there are some things that are going to be helpful as you move along. So my model is completed here, and something that I did do is I did name most all, not everyone, but most all of my features that I created. Okay. I suggest doing that, especially for major ones that have an idea that you're going to probably go back and maybe reference. And it just helps throughout the process, especially when we have a lot of features that we're creating, because this tree is getting, a little bit big. So, so the process in terms of how I created this, I first started out with this profile right here and I extruded it. Now I extruded it though about the front plane. Okay, so let's go in. I call this the profile and I'm going to look at this extrusion. All right. And here is what I came up with based on the dimensions that are there. And then after I got that all set, I'm going to show you how I extruded it, but I did it symmetrically about that front plane, okay, on either side. So there's going to be an axis of symmetry, if you would, down the center of this part. So I'm going to set okay. Then what I did is I did the bottom rail next, all right? And when I talk about the bottom rail, that's this portion down here. So if I look there, my sketch came from the front side here. Now, when I look, it's actually on this surface right here of my original profile, that first extrusion that I created, and it's on this front plane right here, all right? And then I extruded this straight back. So if I go to definition there, I made it completely solid all the way back for the entire length of 2.562 inches, okay? As given in the bottom dimension of that rail, okay? Then I went in and I did a cut, okay? The cut was taking out this portion right here. So if I look, I'm gonna grab this. This is taking out that little bit on that backside, okay? Then you notice I added a round then. So this is a fillet that is created to the size given in the book or in the example. And then I grabbed the angle cut, okay, this angle cut. So I'll show you that the sketch, I sketched right here, along here using 3/8 of an inch dimension. And then I just was on, and I extruded that back as a remove material or a cut. Okay, all right. Then the next thing that I did was I added the rounded portion here of the top extrude. I didn't call it anything. I didn't really know what to call it. So I'm gonna look here. You'll notice I just created a circle on that front face and I extruded it back into the part. And that was it. All right, so to make that thickness there. All right. Then you'll notice that the next thing that I did is I added the extrude. And this one is the 3/4 inch. And I'm going to rename that. I'm going to rename this one to be 750 hole. Okay. So this is the 3/4 inch hole going back. Let's go underneath. The diameter I'm speaking of is the top line of this call out. So this is the one that's going back 1.187. I drew this actually to, or I modeled it to 0.749 to be the middle dimension. So that when I do my tolerances later on, they're going to be plus or minus 1,000. And then I'll show the limits. So that's that hole. Okay. So that's going all the way back. You can see it goes all the way back to this portion right here. Okay. Then the next hole that I put in was the hole for the minor diameter of the threaded hole in the front here. Okay, so let's look back at that call out. That's going to be the front portion right here. So this is 0.812, that's 13/16-20. UN, which is Unified National Coarse Thread. Extra fine is the EF. -3B is that it's an internal, and then 3 is also the class of fit. So it's a closer class of fit, and then it's a left-handed, not a right-handed. So we have to put LF on there for a left-handed thread, and its depth is 0.437. So that hole, how I modeled that was to the minor diameter of this thread. Now, to get that minor diameter, I simply did a Google search, okay? And the minor diameter came up as 0.7525, okay? So if I go to that hole, that is going to be the size that I actually modeled it at. I sketched it at 0.52, or I'm sorry, 0.7525. Okay, that's the minor diameter. So that was okay. And then I did that to a depth of 0.437. Now the cosmetic thread, let's see how we put that in. I'm going to edit that definition, hit the cosmetic thread under engineering. I selected that inner portion, okay? And I wanted it to be a simple thread. The diameter is going to be 0.813, okay? And it's going to be a pitch of 20, all right? Now, these numbers, you know, we just key in because that's the major diameter. And I want that to be the major diameter. So that's going to be a hole, if you would, that's going to be into the material. That's going to represent the threads that are being cut or tapped into when it's being generated. Now, I have to go over to properties over here. And I need to make sure that the major diameter is 0.8125 or 0.813. And then the minor diameter, you're going to have to key in, is 0.7525. Okay, 0.7525. So these are the two numbers, all right? And then you're simply going to, you know, have those in there and you're going to be able to hit OK. But before you hit OK, double check your depth here from the front surface. You have to select that front surface where you want that to start. And you want that to be at a depth of 0.437. Once all of that information is in, you can click OK. And now you're going to see the two diameters. Okay, they'll also reflect in the drawing now. All right, so that's how you create that. All right, then you're going to notice I did a bunch of rounds. These are going to be the 1/4 inch, the 1/8 inch rounds that are going to be around the outside. Okay, so I'll let you play with that individually. Then what did I do on the next ones? The next hole, oh, these are the ones on the bottom. So this is the 0.218 hole. This is the first hole on the bottom right here. So if we go back to our call out, you're going to notice that we have a counter bore of 0.218. That's this one right here, that first one. All right, so I modeled that one first. Then I added the threads, okay, and I used the hole wizard for that. And that's going to be a number 12-24 UNC. And that's going to be at 3/4 inch deep from the bottom up. And then lastly is going to be the diameter of 0.150 all the way from the bottom. Now, a good idea is to model these in the order that we see here. So do the diameter of 0.5 all the way to 1.062. Then do the threaded hole all the way to a diameter of 3/4. So this one right here, okay, is going to be from the bottom all the way. This is going to be 1.062. This one here, all the way from the bottom to the bottom of that tap, is going to be the 0.75. And then this last one is going to be to 0.375. Okay. Now, once you have the three in here, you can then mirror them over, okay, by either selecting them or all together or one at a time. And you can mirror them over that plane that you have going down the middle from your original symmetrical extrude. Okay, so that's the order for doing those. Then if I go back over here, then the last one that I have are the two tapped holes that are on this back face here. This is a 1/4 inch tapped hole and it's 5/8 inch deep or 0.625. And then I did one using the hole wizard, okay, right here on the model ribbon. And then I mirrored it over that front plane, okay, on the other side. So, so that's the process of creating this particular model. Okay, so if you have any questions as you go through, just let me know. But but that would be the process using obviously the dimensions that are in here. When you do these holes coming up, you are gonna see, and that's by design, these little holes or those grooves in there. So then you know you did it correctly, okay, and you have them placed correctly. All right, so that is the model. We're now gonna go over and we're gonna be looking at the drawing, okay? So, so what I'm gonna do here is I am going to start with a new, actually, let me do a cancel real quick. I always like to do a quick save, and then manage, delete old versions. I just like to have a nice clean start before I start my drawing. I'm going to do new drawing, and this is going to use the model file name. Okay. And then I'm going to browse and I'm going to use my B size WCTC. I'm going to hit OK. All right. Material is going to be SAE. Or am I mistaken on that? Nope, it's cast iron. I'm sorry. CI is cast iron. Cast iron. Okay. KRR. And this is called the sliding jaw. Okay. Now, I'm not going to take time on the video to do this, and I'm going to do this in the background, but I'm going to kind of pause the video and I'm going to delete all the dimensions that are on here. Okay. Because this is a more complex model. It's too much to go through. So I'm going to go feature by feature and I'll show you how to get them in, and it'll be just easier to manage. Okay. So I'm going to pause my video right here and I'll be back and I'll have a cleaned up drawing. Okay, now I've gotten rid of all of my dimensions. I'm going to go over to the annotate tab. And once I'm over here, I can now get rid of some of these extra lines that are in the middle. These are just guidelines so that when you place your dimensions, they're nice and even in between. So they were added because of all the dimensions that were there. So I'm going to take a moment and I'm going to get rid of these as well, except for the two that are closest to each one of the views. So I'm going to pause again and take the time to do that, and I'll be right back. Okay, so now I've got those taken care of. You'll notice that I did space out my views, and the size that we are at right now on this B-size board are at a 1 scale. And you'll notice the scale is down here at the left-hand corner. It's at a 1-to-1 scale. I'm going to double click on that to change that to 0.75. Okay. And now what that allows me to do is I am going to be adding a section view over here as we see on our guide. And then it'll allow me to put my views in a little bit nicer. So now I can bring this closer together. Okay. And we can scooch this view over, as well as that right side view, right? And kind of bring this one into the middle-ish. Okay, all right. The other thing that I like to do is sometimes the planes get a little crazy. So I'm going to turn all of these off just to, again, have fewer lines to look at. And I'm going to do a quick save at this point on this drawing. Okay. Now I need to create my section view over here, but before I can create it as a section, there has to be a view there. So, so the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to my layout view and I'm going to create a projection view. Click on that. I'm going to left click my front view, and then I'm just going to go over to the left and then left click again, and it's going to place that view. Right now, it's a projection looking at the part. So it's a left side view, if you would. And then I'm going to reselect it. I'm going to edit this, and I'm going to go to view display, and I want it to be a no hidden because it's going to be a section view. And then I also do not want to show any tangent edges. Okay, and apply. Then I want to go to sections. Okay, now to place my section, I actually want it to go all the way through the very middle of this fastener. Okay, because I want to be able to show those over here so I can dimension them and also call them out. So at this point, I can't go any further because I need a plane to go through there. All right. So I'm going to hit OK here and I'm going to go back to my model. All right. And I am going to create a plane that is going to go through those two holes. Now I'm going to go back to my drawing itself. Okay. And this is the guide. And where I want this to go through is right through the middle here. Okay. And then we're going to show that over on this side, the section view. So what that means is if I go to the top here, my entire width here is 1.562. So that takes me from this point right here all the way to this side. We're going to notice that if we go back to our model, okay, and I turn on my planes, all right, my right plane is right here, right? And it's on that face, okay? So I'm going to do an offset into this so that it goes right through the middle right there. So going back over to my drawing, I'm going to do this 1.562, and then I'm going to subtract off 1.187, and that's going to be 0.375. Okay, so the distance from here, where that plane is, to here is 0.375. Okay, so I'm going to go back over here and I'm going to create a plane. And I'm going to create a plane offset from this right plane right here. Okay, so I'm going to do a plane. And it's going to say you want to select references. So the reference that I want is going to be this plane right here, the right plane. And then it's going to ask me, you want to offset it, you want to translate it, okay? Translation is what is the distance that you want to offset this for? And I want it to be 0.375, enter. And then we're going to look, okay, from the green, which is my reference, to the yellow, that is in the correct direction, this is going to be 0.375. I'm going to say, okay, that looks good. And it just created a datum plane down here, DTMI in my tree 1. And I want to do a regenerate and I want to do a save on that. Okay. I'm going to go over to my drawing. Okay. And now we're going to notice my planes are on here, and notice now I have a plane running right through here. And at the bottom of my design tree, look at that. There's that datum plane. And that's going to be the plane that I'm going to select when I do my section. Okay. And it's going to go through the place that I need it to be. All right. So now I'm going to go back and I'm going to go into that view, and I'm now going to create my section. Okay. So I'm going to go to sections, 2D cross section, plus I want to, this little menu manager comes up. I want a planar single, done. Okay. And then I'm going to call this A, because it's the first one on here. And now I just have to select my plane. All right. Now I can select it here, or I like to be safe. I know that it's called that datum 1 down here. I'm going to select it right there. And now you'll notice that A right away is a green check mark. It's a full section, which is exactly what I want to do. I want to go through the entire section here, and I'm going to say apply, and I'm going to have to fix my hatching, but it looks exactly the way I need it to look. Okay. So now I'm going to click off of that view, and then I'm going to hover over and select that with my left one. And I'm going to increase this in increments until I like the way it looks. I think that looks pretty good. Okay. So, so now I have that cross hatching in there. Okay. So, so that's all set. Okay, now we need to work on these views and the lines that are here. We're going to look at this view first. All right. And you're going to notice there's a bunch of lines missing. It almost looks like, you know, like it's not connected. But what's happening is, as we look at our model, all of these edges are rounded. And in the view, we have it set so that none of the tangent edges show. Okay. So let's go back to Creo. And we're going to click on this view and we're going to turn them on and see how that looks. So we're going to go here. We're going to go to view display, and we're going to, hidden is what we want because we want the hidden lines showing. And then we want to go to default. All right. And then apply. What's going to happen is we're going to see all those tangent edges. Okay. Still doesn't look good. There's like too many lines, especially as we look at it in this view, okay? But we're gonna leave those there for now, and we're gonna singly select the ones that we want to get rid of, all right? Now, I'm gonna leave that there. I'm going to compare this to our view right here, okay? So what we need is we need to be able to dimension to that surface where this is tangent, like kind of across here. It's just 3/4 of an inch, all right? So, so we have extra lines around here on our view that are going to reflect those radiuses that are there. So the ones that I want are the ones that are right in the middle here. These are the only ones that's going to be the very outside that I need. Okay. Now to get rid of those, I'm going to be on my layout tab right here, and I need to go to Edge Display. I'm going to click on Edge Display, and it's going to come up with this menu, and it's going to say, you know, stuff. What we want to select is Erase Line, because I'm going to select the lines that I want to get rid of. Okay. So I'm going to erase line, and now it's telling me select them. Okay. Now I'm going to select my first one, and then I'm going to hold the control key and continue to select the ones I want to get rid of. So I'm going to select my first one here at the bottom, and then I'm going to hit the control key. I'm going to hold it, and then I'm going to continue to select the ones I want to get rid of. This vertical goes, this one goes, that one, that one, that one, this one, and this one. Now I'm going to stop here. Oh, and I want to get rid of, yeah, that front one. I just want to kind of stop here, get rid of that one. Now, don't hit done. Don't hit your middle mouse button. You want to hit enter. Okay, enter. And now they go away. I know. If you hit done or you hit the middle mouse button, nothing's going to happen. All right. I tried this a couple times. And so you have to hit the enter key at the end of that. So now we've got that profile there. We want to get rid of now the rest of these lines that are above that. Okay. Not the circle ones. Okay. Just the ones that are these tangent lines. So I'm going to hit Edge Display again, erase line. And now I'm going to select my first one, and I'm going to get closer here. I'm going to depress and hold the control key. This one, that one, that one. So when they get orange, you can left click and highlight it. And then I'm gonna do the same thing on this side, that's one, that one, this one, and that one. And then again, I'm not hitting done. I'm not hitting my middle mouse button. I'm going to press the enter key, and they're gone. Okay. I know, it's kind of crazy. Oh, look at, there's a little line in there I missed. See it? Okay, so I'm going to do that one more time. Edge Display, erase. I'm going to grab that line right there. Oh, come on. That one right there. I got to zoom in. There we go. One. And then I'm going to go over. I'm going to zoom into this one. Control, hold that one, and then enter to get rid of it. All right. Now they're there in the background. Let's say you deleted something you didn't want to get rid of. All right. You're like, oh crap, how do I get it back? You go back to Edge Display, and you go to Tangent Solid, and then you're going to go over the top, and you're going to see these flash in the background. Once you see the one that you want back, you simply select on it, hit enter, and it's back. Okay. Now I'm going to get rid of it. Edge Display, erase line, select it, enter key. Okay, so that's this view. And so this looks good. Now I'm going to go up to the top view, and I need to do the very same thing up here. I need to first go to my add those tangent edges back in, and then delete the ones that I don't want. So view display, default, or show tangent edges. I'm going to hit OK. And there we go. All right, they're in here. Now, the ones that I want are going to be, we're going to compare back here. Now, this was done in AutoCAD, and it was extended a little further back, but I want to keep these. I want to keep this front one, but I want to get rid of anything else that's not there. So let's see what we've got. So Edge Display, erase, and we'll take this a little bit at a time. So I definitely want to get rid of this one, holding my control key, this one, that. Oh, no. Wait. This is gonna be this. Want that one. Oh, crap. I think I want that one. There we go. So you can just toggle them on and off. And then, you know what? It's always better, I think, to do fewer, because that way you can always add them back in if you need to. Get rid of this, and that. And now remember, don't hit done, don't hit your middle mouse button, hit the enter key. And I want to get rid of this part in the middle. So I need to go to Edge Display, Erase, and I'm going to select that line right there and enter. I think so. I think I look good. All right. Yeah. So I think that looks pretty good. Okay. It's not exactly the way that it is in the AutoCAD one, but these are the edges that are available to us. So that I think completes the front. Okay. So I'm going to do a quick file save. And that's how you can clean up those views. Now, the next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to get rid of all of my planes here. And then it's a matter of adding my, oh, I got to add my arrows. I almost forgot that. Let's add our arrows in. So we're going to be on the layout tab, click on that view, go to arrows, and then click on the view that you want the arrows to be in, and then it places it for us. And then remember, you can select those and you can move them so that they're, out of the way of, dimensions as you create them. So this can be moved around. Oopsie. Okay, so you can play around with that. Oh, you'll notice that on that drawing, in order to dimension to the location of that hole, we have to do a local section, okay? So if we go underneath here, we're going to select this view. We're going to add a little section in there, okay? So we're going to say section 2D, and we're going to call this one, we need to create new, we need to call this one B. Okay. And plane, and I think I can just do, this would be about the, it's going to be about the front plane. Right. Here we go. Now I don't want it to be a full section. I want it to be a local section. So I want to pick the point right about there. And then I'm going to do my spline around the outside. Here we go. Apply. Oh, I know why, because it's on the front plane. Yeah, I know why. So what it's doing right now is it's creating about the front plane, which is in the middle here, but I need it offset from that. So guess what I get to do? I am going to hit OK. And we are simply going to go back to our model. See, these are the fun things. We're gonna go back to our model. I'm gonna get rid of the B section. So I want to left click it and delete it. Okay. And now I need to create a plane through here, offset from my front plane. So I know that my front plane is going right through the middle here, and I want this, I want a plane that's going to go through this section here. Now, when I'm in this view, that means I want it through this hole right here. Okay. And that means that that is offset by, okay, let's go back to our drawing. It's offset by a 16 or 3/16 of an inch. So I'm going to go back over here And we are going to create a new plane. We're going to add a plane. And from the center though, from the center, back over here. So if this is 0.625 between there, from the actual center, it's going to be half of that. So half of 5/8 is going to be 5/16, which is 0.3125. So from here, which is our front plane, to here is 0.3125. So I'm going to go back over here. I'm going to create a plane. I'm going to reference my front plane, which is right here, and I'm going to offset 0.3125, half of 5/8, right? Okay, and I want it to go, yep, in that direction. That's exactly where I want it. I'm going to say, okay, so now I've got datum 2 is going to be the plane that I'm going to use for my local section. So we're going to go back and we're going to recreate that section. So notice that it's gone, all right, which is good. And we're gonna go down here. We're gonna grab this view. We're gonna add a local section. So we're gonna go to sections, 2D plus create new. We want a plain single done. We're gonna call it B. Make sure you would have deleted it before, otherwise you got to go to C. And then now we want to pick that plane. That plane is datum 2. It's happy, but we want this to be a local section, which is going to be one of these cutouts. So the center of it, it's going to say, where is the center of that breakout? So it's going to be right here. And then now I'm going to put my spline around so I can see the whole thing. There we go. And then I can say apply. Look at that. And then okay. And okay, there we go. There we go, because it's going through this plane right down there. Cool, cool. All right, so now what I can do is I can add the dimensions that are there because, see, come on. There we go. Let's put this down here, section BB. And actually, you don't even need to label it because it's a section in and of itself. You can click on this and make this wider so that you can see it. So that's creating that section there. Now I'm kind of looking to see if there's anything else that is unique here. You're going to create the note. You're going to attach the note here. I really don't see anything else. You've got your tolerances that you're going to be using. So I believe I have everything covered here in terms of the drawing and the model in order to make this mimic what's here. So I'll let you finish up putting dimensions on, okay? And but this hopefully you found helpful in getting your views cleaned up, the planes in order, and getting the section views and the local section view so that it's going to, you know, have the ability to dimension to those lines that are not hidden. Okay, so that's where I'm going to end. If you have any other additional questions, please let me know.